Hello, everyone. Good evening. And we're so sorry for the technical challenge that we're having. We are starting right away. We apologize for the delay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Yes,
Hello,
you can
good
go ahead.
evening.
I can hear you.
Okay. All right then. So welcome everyone to another exciting episode of Belewa Chess Facebook live chat. As we speak right now, we are also streaming live on YouTube. So you can always refer people to join in and to connect on YouTube to watch and then also share with other of their friends. Okay, on today's episode of our Facebook live chat, we will be considering period stigma. Does menstruation has a spiritual correlationship? And this has been discussed last week. So we are still in the week. So, this is more of, it is broad. There are a lot of stigmas surrounding women and this. So we need to know more about this. That's why we're having these experts in this field to discuss with us. Please, as we move on the discussion, for those of us joining in, if you have a question, can you use the chat box to drop your question, your comments? They're all welcome. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so as we start, I want to take an opportunity to say a very big thank you to our partners for their support. African Women Development Fund, Global Fund for Women, Women First Digital, Moment for Women Alliance, DKT International Nigeria, Cross River State Ministry of Health, UNFPA, Cross River State Primary Healthcare Development Agency. We're saying a very big thank you to you all for your support, for standing by us. For without you, this would not be possible. So we are saying a very big thanks to you all for that support. All right, so as we move on, we want to do an introduction of our speakers. Today we have amazing speakers in the house. Yeah, they're really amazing. And we should be ready for plenty better talk as we did discuss today. So we'll just do a brief intro of their area of expertise. We have with us here Dr. Rodina. I hope I'm pronouncing your name well, sir.
Just right on.
All right, sir. He's a medical doctor, a graduate of medicine from Bingham University College of Medicine and Ireland Health Sciences. He is also a public health anesthesiologist with interest in disease prevention, mental and child health. He is also a serial volunteer who has volunteered with a couple of local and international NGOs. His other interests are on the SDG goals, goal 2 precisely, which says 0 hunger, and 3, good health and well-being, and 4, quality, because he believes these goals are key in the physical and mental growth of every human. Thank you so much, Doctor, for coming on the call today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Okay, so we'll also do another intro of another amazing woman, Dr. Deborah in the house. Hello, ma'am. Hello, Dr. Deborah. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening.
Good evening, ma. Welcome. Dr. Deborah is a medical doctor, a graduate from Ternopil State Medical University in Ukraine. She has her internship training at State General Hospital and did her National Youth Service Corps in Lagos State, Nigeria. She has over 5 years of experience in general medicine with a special interest in public health and emotional and mental wellness. She has organized and volunteered in several mental and emotional wellness projects for women and teenagers. She single-handedly and also partnered with several organizations in educating and training women and young girls within communities. She has a vast knowledge of the use of technology, which she has used in engaging in several community projects and mental health advocacy. She's well regarded in the primary healthcare community. Well done, Ma. You're doing a great job. Okay, so we're moving straight away. I hope our speakers, you're ready for our women.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so I'll be hanging off here to the other co-anchors on the room. We have Faith with us there. Faith, are you there? Elizabeth?
Yes, good evening, Victoria.
Good evening to you too. This is Martina, not Victoria.
Oh, yeah, Martina, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Welcome. Okay, so over to you. Faith?
All right, good evening, everybody. A pleasant time again on our Belle by Choice live chat. Today we are streaming both on Facebook and on YouTube directly. So do feel free rather to share with friends and families and invite them to join. Okay, so today we are going to be looking at the part 2 of the topic we began last week. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you
All
are.
right. Martina, I think static is coming from your end. If you could mute your mic, I think it will help with the static. Okay,
I've done that.
Okay. We'll move directly into our questions now. Dr. Okay, sir, I really think I would need help calling your name. I think I can pick Dr. Deborah, but sir, can you just do me the favor of pronouncing your name?
Okay, the name is Rudirunen. Just
give me a short form, like a short form.
Dr. Nendan, you can use the surname. Nendan.
Okay. Dr. Nendan. Okay. Awesome,
Yes.
awesome, sir. Sir, please permit me to transgress to digress rather a bit. Sir, what part of Nigeria are you from?
I'm from Plateau State.
Awesome! I guess right in my mind. You guys have the most beautiful names in Nigeria. You know, you can even take people from Jos for Chinese people, or those from all those beautiful countries. That's awesome. So glad to have you on our call today, sir. I'm sure one day I would be able to pronounce maybe when I eat enough food from Jos. Okay. Now the questions are going to be going back and forth. We want to get the perspective of both our speakers today on the topic of period stigma and its spiritual correlation. So, Dr. Deborah, today we are going to be starting with you. Our question will go to you first. I thank God you had already done with school before Ukraine war started. we are excited that you are here with us today. Thank you for showing up on our call. Are you with us, Ma?
Yeah, me too. I can hear you.
Oh, all right. Okay, Ma. Ma, please, the first question is going to go to you. And our first question is this: what is the stigma associated with periods?
Okay, so thank you for the question.
Yes, ma'am.
There's several stigma I would say that associated with menstruation or period, and that's because people always fall. Well, I'd say the awareness is better now, but then they always associate it with something they call dirty blood. So that is one of the most common stigma surrounding menstruation. But it's interesting because menstruation is a beautiful thing. That's the way I see it. And for people to associate that with dirty blood is always a challenge because it's interesting rather because it's a sign of that the woman is fertile and can be able to give birth. So one of the things they associate with for the stigma is the dirty blood. That's one. And in some parts of the world, because when a lady or when a girl starts feeling her period, most of the time she's always afraid of what people say. Why? Because especially in parts of the world where they force the women to young marriages. So when a girl, for example, has started feeling her period, it means in that part of the world that she's ripe for marriage. So most of the time, because of that, that also a stigma. Because of that, a lot of girls are are afraid to talk about to tell their parents, their families, or loved ones when this when they attain the age of menarche or when they start seeing their period. So these are some of the most common stigma surrounding menstruation, surrounding period. But the most common one is the fact that it's being attributed as dirty blood, which is quite interesting. But those are the most common stigma associated with period.
Yeah, that's true. It's quite interesting that people would see something that is so good as dirty blood. Dr. Deborah, your sound is echoing, so please we would like you to maybe work on that so that your voice comes out more. Because it was difficult for me to pick out what you were saying, ma. All right, so we're going to thank you so much, ma. Thank you, ma. So Dr. Nandeng, God bless your name. Please, I refer the next question to you, sir. And the next question says, how does period stigma affect access to education and opportunities for girls and women?
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me once more.
Good evening, sir.
Okay, so period stigma now. Just as let me continue from where Dr. Deborah stopped regards the when young girls start menstruating, they see them as ready for marriage. So we all know that when these girls are being, shall I say, predisposed or offered for marriage, automatically it keeps them off from school. So it creates a system where we have more uneducated girls in cultures or traditions that believe in such myths. And then secondly, okay, there is this also, it's a myth or a misconception that women who are menstruating do not function properly or do not function to full capacity at work. So or let me permit me to say sorry that they are less productive compared to other ladies that are not menstruating. So now keeping that misconception now, it denies them job opportunities or job offers, even when they are fit for those jobs. And then for the fact that most employers see them as let me not see liabilities, but they see them as they won't be there always. So uh they tend to be lax when it comes to employing such women or putting them in positions they are fit to cover. And then also for the young girls now, teenagers per se, there is this research, I think by African Union, or it's an African research though, that states that young girls tend to miss between 10 to 20% uh, of their school days to menstruation. And then this discourages their parents or the community from sending them to school. So it's, instead of they just wasting their time in the school that they might not go due to the menstruation, it's best to just put them into other things like child labor or into marriage, which really affects the well-being and development of the girl child, basically.
Yeah, that's very true. Because sometimes like women have these menstrual cramps or girls have this menstrual cramp that makes it impossible for them to even raise their finger. And definitely they will not school or they will not work that day. That's very true, sir. Thank you so much for that intelligent answer. Okay, we're still having this statistics. Are we okay, Doc? You can use your mic now. Okay, all right. Now we're going to go to the next question. The next question today says, okay, so Dr. Deborah, please, you are going to answer this question for us. We'd like to hear your take on it. What are the common myths and taboos about menstruation, and how do they affect the status of women? Hello, Doc. I'll take the question again. What are the common myths and taboos about menstruation, and how do they affect the status of women? Is a two-in-one question, ma. So let's hear your take on it.
Okay. I think some of the most common myths are things that we've mentioned, but let me just, the number one common myth is, okay, for example, they say that period pain, for example, is not real, or it's just a regular pain, for example. Which is actually not sound sexual, but it's coming from the mind, especially. It's for some women that have maybe some other underlying medical conditions, they suffer menstrual pain compared to other women, the hormonal imbalance and so many other things. So when people say, menstrual cramp is not real pain, or is not as painful as some women project it to be, it's always quite, I don't think that's one common myth that we hear. Another common one is when I think it was mentioned before, the period blood is dirty. Another common one is the premenstrual syndrome, and they said PMS, for example, that the symptoms that happen most times before period is, some people say it's all in the woman's head, or it's an excuse sometimes for some women to be rude or have mood swings or whatever it is they say, which is quite interesting. And then the next myth, which is very common, is that it is best to avoid activity while on your period. There are a lot of women today that function, that go to work, because we are even in a world where, for example, women are not giving what's it called? Women are not giving off days from work because they're on their period. You can't say now
Is it my network or can I not hear Dr. Deborah anymore?
Yes, I think the issue is from her network.
Okay. We'll work on it now. Okay,
Maybe we
okay, Doc,
can.
you can go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, my network disconnected for a moment there. Yeah, so I was talking about saying it's best to avoid activities. I was trying to explain that there are a lot of women that go to work and
Yeah,
do
even
other
while on their menstruation.
activities while they're on their
Yeah.
period. So that's a terrible myth because you can't even nowadays, which is terrible, but you can't even use that as an excuse and say at work, for example, that oh, I can't come to work because I'm having menstrual cramps or I'm on my period or whatever it is, but which makes it a terrible myth. Another common one is um there's only periods are very shameful. We've already explained that, talking about how women are being stigmatized in terms of seeing when having their periods, the embarrassment, okay, maybe the stain, and so many other things that are associated with it. Or you get, so those things, so that part of the those are part of the things, or the part of the common myths that we hear, or you hear there's another common one that says you can't get pregnant, for example, while on your period. I totally do not agree because there are some women that can't get pregnant while on their period. It's not common, it's quite rare, but it actually happens. So it's very important to pay attention to these things and try as much as possible um, to avoid them, or to have an understanding about them rather, and to ensure that you don't allow those myths affect you, or you don't allow those things affect you, because people have come up, I would say these people come up with different things. Everything you hear about, there are things that were decided by people in the world. They came together and tried to say, okay, this particular thing is there's some myth that people say that some women on their period, they should not even have their baths. It is quite funny. There are some cultures that tell women on their period not to have their bath, so that they will go through like a period of purification. After the period, then they can now cleanse themselves. So things like this, or you can't have sex while on your period. Those are like the common myths you would hear about menstruation. And then there are some common myths which is important to note, like for example, period being skipping period or irregular menstruation. It's not a good thing, not necessarily, because over time the body, especially for an early stage or for young girls that just started seeing their period, there's some of them or most of them that have irregular menstruation or irregular menstrual bleeding. There's some people that would have irregular menstruation till they start having sex, for example, and then the periods regulate. People that will have irregular menstruation till they give birth, still after they give birth. There are some till they get pregnant. There are some that would even start having irregular menstruation after giving birth. So most of the time, it always has to do with maybe the hormonal level, hormonal imbalance, stress, and so many other factors. So these are things to take note of and keep in mind, so that when you hear them, you won't be misinformed or misled, or you won't even pass the wrong information to your friends, to your loved ones, to your family, or even to your own child. Because menstruation is a very beautiful thing. Like I said earlier, it's a sign that a woman has come to a very important age in her life, a important time where she needs to now start experiencing some sort of changes in her body. So it is very, very important to take note of this myth and misconception and have the right idea and information about them.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Thank you so much, Dr. Deborah. And that's the reason why Better by Choice is hosting this kind of event to ensure that this information reaches as many people as possible. Okay, so I'm going to go to our next question now. The next question is for you, Dr. Nandeng. The question is, how is menstruation related to human rights? Is there any relation or correlation between menstruation and human rights, or let's say female human rights? Dr. Nandeng, this is for you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so menstruation, for the fact that it happens in a human being, is a human right, and for the fact that it's a physiological state, it's a normal state, it's a human right.
Yeah.
And for the fact that for the fact also that it affects or is part of the reproductive life of a woman, it's a human right on its own. So I don't see need why we should try to separate that. It's just like you saying is coughing part of a human being. Human beings cough, so also a woman menstruates. So I think it's normal thing. It's a human right that we all should, or the society should accept and support women who are menstruating, and also to
This
help
is so
educate
beautiful.
the young girls who are coming up, to prepare them.
Yes, yeah. So if I'm to paraphrase what Dr. Nanden said, he said because it involves a human being and then involves the reproductive health of women, which also leads to life, that automatically makes it a human right. Okay, that's awesome. So I would like to give you a follow-up question to this. I'd like to give you a follow-up question to this question now. The next question says, how does cultural or religious beliefs contribute to period stigma in different societies? Since we know it's a human right, and we know many times that cultural and religious beliefs infringe on our human rights. Now, we want to know in the terms of period stigma, how do cultural and religious beliefs contribute to period stigma in different societies? Just use as many different cultures or societies that come to your mind to help us understand this better, sir.
Okay. I will start with cultural and religious belief in general. They facilitate the stigma, a period stigma. So let's use the Islamic religion as an example. There is this ideology that women who are on their period should not participate in the fast, and then there are some churches that should I say they tend to exempt or isolate ladies who are currently on their periods from some religious activities. And then there are cultures when if you're on your period as a lady, you don't mingle around people, you don't prepare meal, you don't do some things. In fact, you don't touch some things being used in the house. Let me say some utensils, because it's assumed that you will contaminate those things or you are impure, just as Dr. Deborah stated earlier as one of the. So they feel all these things now tend to propagate the wrong notion to people. So let's say in the house now, a lady is on a period, then her family members are giving her all this or are propagating this notion by keeping her off those duties or what she's meant to do. Like it tends to give people outside or a visitor who comes in the idea that okay, this is the norm, and he too he goes on with that perception. So it's like indirect campaign to to promote the stigma instead of we actually coming to try reduce the stigma by in the society. And also there's this Jewish culture that women who menstruate, though not Jewish, I think it's it's been practiced in some places here in Nigeria by some cultures here in Nigeria, that a lady who menstruates is an embarrassment. So they tend to keep her away, tend to isolate her from the general population. So, but you by doing this to a lady who is menstruating, I think you are indirectly dampening her self-esteem by doing that, and then you are indirectly telling her not to be seen or not to portray herself the way she should. I don't know if that
Yes.
answers the question.
Yes, sir. So, exactly. I want to ask, sorry, doctor, are you using a headset and earpiece? Is there anything connected to your speaker?
An earpiece.
Okay, sir. I think the earpiece is the
Yes.
cause for the static we are having. The static is a lot.
Okay.
Please, sorry to inconvenience
Alright.
you. Can you just help us take it out? It will really make it clearer. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you so much. I will try to speak as loud as we can so you not miss any of our questions as we go ahead. So I like to rephrase what our speaker says, just so that everyone gets what was stated, and also because I'm learning a lot and taking lots of notes. Now, he talked about Islamic religion, where the lady is seen as dirty or stuff for having her menstruation, and then also in the Jewish tradition, which will be my first time hearing that, the women are seen as defiled, right? Is that what you said, doctor?
No, I
Okay.
said they are seen, when they are on their period, they are seen as an embarrassment. And then for the
Okay. Oh
Islamic
my God.
religion, for
Okay.
the Islamic
Yeah.
religion, I didn't see they are seen as dirty or impure,
Okay.
but
Yes.
they are exempted from the
Okay.
fasting during that period.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Okay. I think we heard the part of the fasting also last week. So in the Islamic religion, they are exempted from things like fasting or religious activities because they're on their period. And then the Jewish part, they are seen as an embarrassment. That is really serious. So I think the more the awareness, I think it will really help, because it should not be seen as an embarrassment. Like Dr. Deborah has stated over and over and over again on this call, it is a beautiful thing that shows that a woman is fertile. Awesome contributions, sir. Thank you so much. Okay, now we'll be going to our next question, and this question is for you, Dr. Deborah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so our next question says, what are some negative effects of period stigma on women's reproductive health and hygiene practices? What are some negative effects of period stigma on women's reproductive health and hygiene practices?
Okay, so when you say negative effects now, like I think there are some of the things that we've also mentioned, because of the issues, the myth, the embarrassment, so to say, and so many other things that surrounds it, or that people have actually introduced or brought in just to make a woman feel uncomfortable about menstruating. So some of the negative effects is like Dr. accurately mentioned, is that some of these women, okay, so he said on women's reproductive health and hygiene practices. So over time, because they don't take care of themselves, like for example, there's something they call I think it's called period poverty or something like that. So that's where, yeah, so it just simply means that women don't have access to especially women in low income, they don't have access, or in some impoverished nations and areas, you don't have access to some of this because of how expensive menstrual materials are, the parts and every other thing, tampons, they're so expensive, and a lot of people can't afford it. So they resort to using certain things like clothes. Some women even use some certain menstrual pants that are not hygienic for them, and then they end up introducing more infection into their bodies because they don't clean themselves up properly. They don't take care of themselves properly. And so women, because of the stigma, they don't even want to see their period. So they do all sorts of things. They receive all sorts of information on how not to receive their period, not knowing that, like I said, seeing your period simply means that you're fertile. You understand? So when they now grow up and then they've become wiser and maybe they're now well educated and modern, they realize that so many things they've done and so many negative effects they've done to their body so as so not to see their period is now going to be an issue or affect them now. So there are a lot of people that have they have difficulty getting menstrual supplies, for example. You get, so like I said, they resort to so many other things. They resort to so many other ways to go through their period. And because these women are not well educated on the importance of maybe having their bath or cleaning themselves properly or observing good and clean and better hygiene, they tend to have like a ripple effect or a lateral effect on their body, on their reproductive health, like I mentioned earlier. Maybe they start having infertility issues and the rest, just because they were not properly educated on the blessing that it is called menstruation, or the importance of even seeing their period, and so many other things surrounding menstruation, irregular menstruation, painful menstruation, or bleeding for, maybe some people bleed for 3 days, for 5 days, for 7 days, cleaning yourself or taking care of yourself you are on your you are on your period, ensuring that your underwear and your underpants are clean and well kept and preserved. You understand? So those things are parts of the negative effect because of this stigma, because especially because of poor awareness and poor education on the importance of menstruation. So over time, they tend to affect over the long run, they tend to affect these women.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Okay. Just before we go forward, she said something about the cost of sanitary pads being high and all. It's very true. There is somebody that I think there was a movie I watched one time where the man was really strict on himself and was asking her, what did you do with pads? How did you use 13 pads in 2 months? And I'm like, did you used to count that too?
Yeah, no, you can imagine,
so,
because some people don't know
people
that
think
some women bleed heavy. Some people have heavy bleeding.
they have to change like 3 to 4 times in one day.
Yeah, some people change 3 to 4 times in a day. It's not like everybody's body is quite different. Yeah, so that's where the education and awareness is important, because some people don't have that. It's not like where some of us we have the opportunity, but there are a lot of people in not just in Nigeria, in so many parts of the world where women are, there's, aside from the gender inequality, there's so much discrimination in terms of women, as in directed towards women, that this particular issue, especially when it comes to their menstruation, them seeing their period, is a challenge. Because the truth is, when a woman, for example, doesn't take care of herself very well, doesn't wash up properly, especially during menstruation, over time she might start to smell. That's the truth.
Yes, and that
She will
becomes
start
a
to
different
smell.
problem.
So that's even part of what we even cause this stigma. There are some women that actually have certain smell even when they are menstruating. You understand? And they don't understand. So that's part of the thing that will even cause the stigma. But when awareness is being created on how a woman can actually take care of her genitals and clean properly and ensure she's healthy and strong and she's well taken care of during that period,
Excellent.
It goes a long way for our reproductive health, for our personal hygiene.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Deborah. That was very insightful. Okay, so we're going to take in our next question now. But I'll be calling on Elizabeth to take over with the next questions. We have some very interesting questions coming up. So Elizabeth, over to you now.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you once again, Faith. And thank you to our speakers. Honestly, so far they've done a wonderful job in answering most of these questions, and I'm really, really learning a lot. Okay, this question will be for Dr. Nendang. It says, in what ways does period stigma intersect with other forms of discrimination, such as class, race, or disability? Dr. Nendang, are you here, sir?
Yes, I'm here. Oh, and before I answer the question, well done. You did well with the name. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And also, sorry about the embarrassment I talked earlier. I said earlier, it's in relation to their impure state. So it's not
Okay.
really, yes. So, okay, to answer this question now.
Yes, sir.
The period stigma now, just let me try to relate it with what Dr. Deborah said about the ladies in low socioeconomic status. That's the poor people.
Mm-hmm.
So the stigma tends to be higher in such people because I think with um, lack of access to information, lack of access to the sanitary materials, supply is needed. So it's the ladies tend to look unhygienic during that period of menstruation. So the discrimination or the stigma now tends to be higher in the poor, and then the, should I say, ignorant or uneducated. And then for people living with disability now, because of their condition, depending on what disability they have. Let's use a layman or a lady who is lame as an example. She'll be unable to cater for herself properly during when she's menstruating. So in that state, taking care of herself will be poor, and then people won't even want to come close to her based on she's menstruating. And we know how disabled people to an extent are being marginalized in our society. So it's the stigma tends to be higher in such classes of people. That's the people in low socioeconomic classes.
Yes.
Yeah, the uneducated and people living with disability. Basically, I don't really know much on more on its correlation with race, though.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. I don't know if doctor can also shed more light into this question before we move further. Dr. Deborah. Hello, ma, are you with us?
Yes, hello, sorry, I'm you. Sorry about that.
Okay, is there anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, okay. So for I think Dr. I can't really pronounce his name well too. Nendang said
Dr.
Nendang about yes. It said so. It said he highlighted some important things. I think for race, there's really not so much when it comes to race and stigma, so to say, or discrimination when it comes to race, but it has more on class and disability. Why? Because for race, it has nothing to do with your race, whether you're light skinned or dark skinned or whatever it is. you, like I said, you as a woman,
As long as you're a woman, yeah.
you have to menstruate. But the main issue has always been with class and people that are disabled. So those are the ones that always have issues when it comes to dealing with menstruation. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so very much. All right, we'll just move to the next question so we can. So yes, Dr. Deborah, this is for you. How does the media and advertising in general influence societal attitudes and perceptions about menstruation?
Okay, so for media advertising, I feel like for me, it's what they, the question would have prepared is what they don't actually do, because most of the time they don't even do anything. They don't do anything. So they do not do anything actually. That's it. They don't, because with all the amount of news and information they carry about certain things, the amount of things they advertise, I think I don't really watch TV so much, but when I get to see adverts on things, even for example, the way they advertise most of the sanitary pads and all, for me, it's quite ridiculous. Actually, the way it's been advertised. No, it's true. It's not being projected like for it to be relatable with a normal human being. It's just the truth. So they make it look like it's a normal thing. Like when I mean, it's a normal thing, but like they make it look like
it's fairy tale sort of.
It's a fairy tale thing that happens, and then you just see your period, you just use the pad, whatever it is, and then you keep it pushing. No, but there are several things that happen if the media and the advertising agencies and companies and organizations can really focus on issues like this that we are talking about and create more awareness on a woman embracing a femininity, or a woman embracing the fact that okay, she can now see her period in their adverts and some of the news that they carry relating to women. I think it would help a long way, because the truth is we are humans and we are moved by what we see. That's the reason why they pay so much. For example, they pay celebrities, for example, they pay people so much. Let me just say that, to advertise
they spend a lot.
Because if certain people, certain people are not important, they might as well get anybody to do the advert and they move on. They advertise their products or whatever it is that they are trying to give out to the world, and they push it and they move on. But they spend so much getting important people, so to say, to do this advert. So if they can spend so much time doing that, it means they can spend so much time during that process in getting those people to educate everyone in the world about the importance of not stigmatizing women that are menstruating, about the certain myths that we've shared today about the importance of women, of ladies going to school or being educated at school, or or the guys or the men being educated at school on how not to discriminate or embarrass women. Because there's some boys that they don't understand what menstruation is. It's the truth. So men don't know what menstruation is. So that's why, for example, because, for example, when a woman attains menarche, when at the first time ever of seeing period, can happen at any time. Imagine if it happens in school and then her body is stained with blood, and then you see men, guys, or young boys laughing at her. She's going to some girls that are not so strong mentally will be scarred, and they would not want to see their. They might not even like we've shared. They might not want to go to school again for the next time when that happens. You understand?
Because of that incident, yes.
Exactly. So aside from other people like families educating loved ones, so because we are now, especially in the world where we are social media driven, almost everybody in this world is on Facebook at least, and there are other social media platforms. There are so many things. In fact, the world now is driven majorly by media.
Like
You understand?
technology.
So
Yes.
if they can put so much right information and share awareness on the things that we've shared today, I think it would really change the mind of people, and it will really educate a lot of people on their attitude towards women and their perception about menstruation. That's what I think.
Thank you so very much, Ma, for this. I really understand what you're trying to say. We see so many um news these days, and a lot of them barely talk about these things, and that is one major thing that we need to start talking about, and the media needs to invest more into, so that our teenagers out there, ladies, women out there, can take more cognizance about this. Thank you very much for that. Okay, we'll go to the next question now, Dr. Nendang. um the next question says, what role can education play in breaking down period stigma and also promoting menstrual health and hygiene?
Okay. Education on its own is a means of enlightenment. And from all we've been seeing here, I think there is a knowledge gap between those perpetrating the stigma and then the menstruating girls or ladies.
Yes.
So I think education will bridge that gap between, will bridge that knowledge gap. So it will reduce the it will reduce the stigma in our society. And then for the boy child and the male gender now, it will increase their awareness and then their need to offer support instead of stigmatizing ladies during menstruation. Also, education will help in increasing or boosting the ladies' self-esteem. It will increase her awareness of her own body and the need to own her to have her bodily autonomy. So it increases her confidence, it increases her self-esteem, and the need not to be ashamed, not to feel shame shy of her menstruating state or period. And then it also should I say, it treats the misconceptions and myths that our traditions and cultures are held onto.
Spot on, sir. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, sir. Okay, we're going to the next question, please, after this one. Dr. Deborah, are you still with us, ma? Hello, Dr. Deborah. Hello, ma. Is she still on the call or? Okay, while we wait for Dr. Deborah to. Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I can
Okay,
hear you.
thank you. While we wait for Dr. Deborah to join us back, I think she has network issues. We'll move to the next question, Dr. Nendang. It says, how can healthcare providers play a role in challenging this period stigma and providing comprehensive menstrual care for women, ladies, young girls out there? What is the role of healthcare providers?
Okay, I think since menstruation is not only limited to the hospital setting, or ladies don't, it's not really an emergency where they rush them to the hospital. It's more of a societal thing. But their role is a bit limited, though still significant. So the healthcare workers now they have a role to play in creating awareness and educating women and ladies, their parents, almost everybody, in fact, everybody that comes to the hospital on menstrual health. And then also providing accessible health to these ladies. Because there are times when a lady on her periods gets menstrual period gets overwhelming that she needs to go to the hospital. So providing the necessary care for them in that state, and then the necessary, should I say, medical support or health support now, it really plays a role in alleviating whatever she's going through at that moment. And also the place of encouraging the parents or whoever is involved, or whoever is with the lady, basically.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for that, sir. Dr. Deborah, are you with us, ma?
Yeah.
Hello. Okay, we lost you there for a second. We were Dr. Nendan was just sharing his view on the question, how how can healthcare providers play a role in challenging period stigma and also providing comprehensive young girls out there. So is there anything you'd like to add to it before we move to the next question, ma? Okay, Dr. Deborah.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Did you get the question, ma?
No, I got the question.
Okay, I said, how can healthcare providers play a role in challenging period stigma and providing comprehensive menstrual care to women and young ladies?
Yeah, I got the question. So,
Okay.
one of the ways that healthcare providers can play a role is in is see for me it's education, and healthcare providers have that great opportunity. Why? Because the truth is, when people go to the hospital, for example, it means they are going there for them to get solution to a particular problem or a particular issue. So that's the reason why. So hospitals can organize programs just the way during antenatal, for example, there are some hospitals that organize like a short time where they give like a health talk. So hospitals can do that. They can organize health talks for either the mothers, the fathers, the boys, the girls, or maybe during their consultation period, they have the opportunity to educate these people or whoever it is on um on the importance of
For menstruation.
on the importance of menstruation, on menstrual care, and all. And it's irrespective of the fact that people also keep forgetting that sometimes we as medical practitioners can be very, very reckless and careless and not empathic at all.
Yes.
It's terrible. So in as much as some of us see it's not a big deal, it's not, because we already know the process of the whole thing, of how it works, how it comes about. But the truth is, if we are more empathetic to people and try to understand where they are coming from, because like I said before, menstruation happens differently for each woman. The way it's going to happen, or the way it's going to happen for this particular woman. When I mean happen, I mean in terms of the symptoms, for example, how our body is going to react to it might be totally different from this person. I think Dr. Nina was saying something when I joined back. It was saying something about people get admitted, some girls get admitted. Yes, some people get admitted for menstruation, for heavy bleeding, for non-stop menorrhagia, non-stop bleeding, painful menstruation, and so on and so forth, or even irregular bleeding, or not even seeing the period at all. People get, you understand? So many things, and there's other factors, there's other medical condition, the other medical condition that can affect or even make that the menstruation cycle or the menstruation period quite difficult and stressful. So it's very important to be empathetic, one, to create health talks, to create workshop during because hospitals, like I said, they have the opportunity to do that. They can organize seminars, they can create health talks and invite their patients, invite people, invite families. They can organize medical outreaches. There are so many things that can be done in the hospitals. Health, health providers can actually do to help reduce the stigma, to create more awareness. There's nothing like over awareness for anything. Awareness most of the time is not even
Yes,
enough.
exactly.
There's nothing like over awareness. So the more you impress on something, the more you talk about something, the more it creates a long and lasting impression on the other person, the more they have a better idea on what is being talked about or what is being said. So yes, truly, the role of healthcare providers cannot be overly emphasized. It should be
Overemphasized.
talked about
Yes.
more in the hospitals. It should be talked about more. There's several, I mentioned in several ways they can talk about it. It should be talked about more in the hospitals. Because someone might not easily, for example, listen to
Thank
their
you so
parents,
very
for
much, Ma.
example.
This is
They
just
can listen to
on
a
point.
doctor.
It's just on point. Yes, to outsiders, as long as it's the right information being given.
Exactly. And doctors have the right information because that's where they specialize in when it comes to people's health. So they have the right information and they can be able to give the right information to people. Why? Because people read a lot online. People get information from, and people get information from family, from friends. And you know, this information that they get from hearsay. Oh, I heard this person, I heard that, from tradition, things that were passed down from generation
Someone said this.
that should no longer be heard of. So they keep passing it down from one generation to the other. But you see, at least thank God for medicine. Medicine has advanced and doctors have the opportunity to learn to unlearn certain things from their family background, so to say, and understand the science about menstruation and the importance of it. So they are in a good place to really give good information to people. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. Honestly, I'm learning a whole lot on this. It's menstruation as a whole is very broad, and I just love the way we are dissecting it one after the other. Okay, Dr. Nendang, are you still with us, sir?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So what policies and legislative measures can be implemented to addressing period stigma and promoting menstrual equity?
Okay. So I'm not a politician or House of Reps membership, but I'll try my best.
Okay.
Okay, so on legislation now, I think okay, there is this law back then in the US, tampons law or pinks, pink law. So
Pink
those ones
law.
were, yeah. So it's like sorry, pink tax, tampon tax or pink tax. Sorry. Okay, so they put on extra tax, more tax on should I say female supplies such as tampons and some other supplies you use.
Okay.
So over time they kind of cut down. I think some states have cut down those taxes on them. But what I'm trying to drive on is that government can remove the taxes on such things because menstrual sanitary supplies are part of the basic necessities we all need, ladies need. So taxes being removed from these things now will make it cheaper and more affordable to people, especially the people living in low socioeconomic states. That's the poor people. And also, I think the place of education, that's awareness. Um, the curriculums can be, I don't know if we all can remember, but back then in primary schools and secondary schools, when we have been taught hygiene, like nothing on menstrual hygiene is being said. And the earlier children tend to know about all these things. Menstrual hygiene is almost is in almost same level as you waking up to brush your teeth, you taking your bath, not to smell, and all that. So including that in the curriculum for primary and secondary schools might help creating the awareness for young ladies even before they start menstruating. And then also for the boy child, for him to know that it's not a taboo or a big deal, but it's menstruation is the normal state that every lady undergoes. So it helps with it helps in alleviating the stigma from the start even. And also um, government or hospitals now, government, hospitals, schools, or organizations can improve in awareness campaigns about the menstruation, and also provision or increasing access to health for ladies in that state. Also, there is for organizations now and institutions, they can provision of accessible or safe places for ladies to be able to use. Let me say bathrooms. Most bathrooms in secondary schools now, I don't think they're really free per se. Even though schools, I think now schools are improving on separating male and female and also providing safe sanitary places for students to use. But when ladies have such places to use to change their pads and other things when they are menstruating, I think it really helps in the hygiene part, because a lady can't come to school in the morning, stay till around 2 or 3 when she closes. What if she's having a very heavy menstruation and she needs to change after like 2 hours or so? So provision of these facilities will really go a long way in helping. So policies surrounding this will help basically.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. You really answered the question very well. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, the next question goes to Dr. Deborah. It says, how can men and boys be engaged in the conversation about period stigma and also become allies in the fight for menstrual equity? I think you've answered this question, but if there's any other thing you can add to it, it'd be nice.
Yeah, I have actually spoken about the important, and even he also spoke about Dr. Nendak also spoke about said some things about it. So like you said, it's more on educating those boys, especially from a young age, because when they're educated from a young age, it's boys that become men. So when they're educated from a very young age, they would have the right information and ways to even deal with situation with their wives, with their children, and it continues like that. So it's educating them, creating awareness, talking about it, explaining it the way it is, explaining menstruation the way it is. Sometimes you always like to quote things and try to, no, you explain it to them the way it is. So they have a better understanding of what it is. One of those days when you now try to sugarcoat or try to reduce certain things, you have to use the right words and make sure they understand properly what is being said and what you're trying to communicate. It's very important. It's very, very important that you understand what you're trying to communicate and not use slangs for it. No, use the exact word.
To be straightforward.
Nigerians yes, no, it's true. It's very important. Nigerians and slangs, and then they don't even understand. At the end of the day, they will think you mean something else, whereas you're talking
about. They end up confusing
Yeah, so
Okay,
you
now.
use the right information. Don't you do one of those is where we should be shy about things like this. Nowadays, because of the world we are in,
The world is
especially
more
because of the
advanced.
world we are in,
Yes.
you have to tell them A is A, B is B, and C is C. You need to explain it, be explicit with the words, and make them understand exactly what the right thing you're saying. Yeah.
You're right, ma. It's better they find out from you than going out there, because when they go out there, they might get something totally different. So
Totally
we should
different.
just experience first. Yes. Okay. Honestly,
Sorry,
I have
please
to
let me
thank you
add on
once
that.
again. Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Please go ahead.
for the place of men, but I think
Yes, sir.
since to an extent men are the, should I say, the perpetrators or the facilitate this stigma against women. I think with the knowledge gotten from
Yes.
the education, Dr. Deborah said earlier, I think it will really be good if the men step in to talk about it openly and respectfully. So let's say for it's just like or let's say for the perpetrator to now be defending the person. I think it encourages others, or it encourages the lady now to be able to speak openly and be confident about it, knowing that, okay, since this person was against it, but now with the knowledge he has, he has understood what it is, and is ready to is a bit confident about her truth. Also, we all know that during menstruation, ladies are they need some form of support, emotional support, psychological support. So I think
Yes.
men and boys can step in that place, not to take advantage now, but to offer that support, because at that point there is a lot going on psychologically. We know the hormonal impact, how it does, how it
So imbalanced. Yeah.
messes up something. Yes. So they can step in to provide that support. In fact, not just emotionally or psychologically. You can offer to get the tampons for them. There's no shame in that. It's just like you passing a hanky
Yes.
to your friend who's sneezing. So, and then also, in that state, ladies are mostly vulnerable due to the whole mood swing, and since she's bleeding and all. Some people tend to take advantage of that vulnerable state. So men can step in to protect them in that state during that period, and it will go a long way in helping them.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your 2 cents. Honestly, I have to appreciate you both. You've done justice to these questions. So we're taking the very last question for today before we call it a day. I would need Dr. Nendang and Dr. Deborah, I would need your input on this. But I'll start with Dr. Deborah first. It says, how can open and honest conversations about menstruation help to dismantle period stigma and create a more inclusive society?
Okay, so I think we've really talked about this over and over again, because the only way is, like you said, how can it help, is to talk about it, is to be open and honest about it. And when you do that,
Education.
it would create, because a lot of people, they grew up, for example, with a certain mindset. You should understand that what we are dealing with right now is mindset. Is the mindset of people. That's what we're dealing with. People's mind has already been accustomed to their environment, with what they hear, what they've grown with, what they live by. So we are trying to change people's mind towards the way they see menstruation. That's what we are trying to do. We're trying to change their mindset, trying to open their eyes. Gone are those days where people say ignorance. There's a word they use. Ignorance is no longer an excuse. Yeah, ignorance is an excuse. I'm sorry. We're in a world where ignorance is no
Ignorance is
longer an excuse. It's a sin. It's even a sin now. Ignorance is even a sin, and it's a punishable sin.
It's a sin,
Ignorance
yes.
is a sin,
You
and
can't
it's a
be ignorant
punishable
in this
sin.
kind of world that we are in.
Yeah, so one of those ways someone say, "Oh, I'm not aware," "Oh, I don't know," "Oh, I don't," "Oh, I'm not sure." No. You have to be aware. You have to know, and you have to be open to embrace change, to embrace new information. That's the reason why I said it's the mindset that we are changing. For you to change someone's mindset about a particular culture or whatever it is that is being done that in terms of religion, which is not even supposed to be that way, is the mindset you're changing. Because when you speak to people, you're speaking to their minds. So when their mind changes, then it starts reflecting on their actions. But if their mind is still set on A is A, B is B, the truth is there's nothing that you will do for these people or towards these people that will make them make any change whatsoever. So having open and honest conversation about this would definitely help to dismantle the period stigma and create a more inclusive society. Yes, it will definitely. Why? Because when we can be able to change someone's mindset about a particular thing, then we can actually, then we've changed them completely. We've created a new idea, a new way. We've brought in light for them to see, okay, this is this is what can be done. And I like that it is written open and honest. It has to be a open and a very honest conversation. It's very, very important. If the conversation is not open and it's not honest, then there will be a problem. And the reason I say open and honest is because people like to always have their way when it comes to having conversation and things. They don't, they are so, their mind is so based on a particular thing that it's so difficult for you to even have an open and honest conversation with them. So having an open and honest conversation is very, very important in this particular situation, because you're dealing with people's life, you're dealing with emotions here, you're dealing with people's living, you're dealing with a lot of things. You're dealing with generations to come. So you have to be able to have open and honest conversation. And I want to say that people not just having the open and honest conversation, but people should be more open and honest about the information they are receiving and about themselves. It is very important. It's one thing for me to tell you that, okay, menstruation, you don't attach stigma to menstruation. It's another thing, or to tell you that, okay, the beliefs that you have about menstruation is they are not good. It's another thing for you to accept what I am saying. It's another thing for you to be willing and ready to be able to have an open mind to accept whatever it is I'm saying. So be ready to say, okay, this thing that I grew up with, I think it's a bad thing, because I'm bringing facts here. That's the reason why. So it's a two-way thing. I am being open and honest because I'm coming with facts. I'm not saying based on my own personal feelings or my own biased feelings. No, I'm telling you that, okay, this thing is going to it's affecting lives. This thing is causing problems, not even just to me because I'm a woman, no, but for the fact that I'll have children, my children will go into the world, they will meet people, and they might end up meeting your child or meeting you or meeting somebody related to you. So I should be able to have an open and honest conversation and take out that biasness and understand that, okay, if I can impact your life, I'm impacting maybe the 1,000 people that you know. That's the power of information.
Yes.
Power information is, if I'm talking to one person, I am talking to 20 people behind that one person. So that's why I should have an open and honest conversation. And it also goes vice versa for the other person. The person should also be open and honest to receive whatever it is I'm saying. And I should be open and honest to understand where the person is coming from. So it's a two-way thing. in as much as we are trying to create a new awareness about things,
Thank you
we
very
have to
much.
have an understanding that people are born, they've lived their lives with certain mindsets. So we have to be open and honest about what we are presenting to them, and they have to be open and honest what they are receiving from us.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you very much for that. Dr. Nendang, is there anything you'd like to say or add to it? Just a minute.
No, I think she has done justice to it.
Okay.
So
All right. Thank
thank
you
you.
very much, everyone. Okay, I don't know if there are any other questions from, since we're streaming via Facebook and YouTube. I don't know if there are any other questions. Martina, are there any questions from Facebook and YouTube that the speakers can help us answer? Okay, well, in the absence of no questions.
None for now. Yeah, none
Okay.
for now. But we will send them across to them on the WhatsApp group. We have a WhatsApp group, Bella by
Yeah.
Choice Paddy WhatsApp group, where we have all the speakers there. And then we have some of the women. So they come in, drop their questions, and then the speakers attend to them. So I believe we should be expecting more questions from them on the group.
Okay. All right.
All
Thank you
right.
very much. Okay, if you're just joining us, and for those of us that have been there with us from the beginning, this is our Bele by Choice Facebook and YouTube live chat, where we discuss on issues relating to women's sexual and reproductive health. And today's topic, we talked on period stigma, we talked on the myths of periods, and how menstruation is related to human rights, and also what can be done to create an inclusive society as regards period stigma. We really want to appreciate our speakers, Dr. Nendang. Let me see if I can get the name well. Dr. Nendang and Dr. Deborah. They really helped us dissect the questions we had concerning
this
period
girl,
stigma.
they don't charge. Every other one they do not charge. This one they charge 10 naira.
Tina, please can you mute?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, and in summary, we're made to understand that having open and honest conversations, not only with the men but with women too, can help in them changing their mindset about period stigma, and also help in creating a more inclusive society. So women will not, women, ladies, young girls out there, they will not feel like it's a bad thing to menstruate, or they won't feel like they're losing their self-esteem or lack confidence in their body as a woman just because they're menstruating. All right, I want to say thank you to everyone also for joining us. Martina, would you like to take over, or should I just go ahead?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Thank you, Faith.
Thank you.
Thank you to our amazing speakers, Dr. Deborah, Dr. Nindan. You guys are wonderful. You've made great justice to this discussion. So, but we're expecting more questions on this. So we're going to employ you too to also join the subsequent live chats so you can also attend to the questions of our women. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation once again. And I think we'll call it up from here. Before then, for the women who have some sexual and reproductive health needs that are met, Elizabeth, can you take that again?
Sorry, what did you say, please?
I mean, for the referrals, for the women, can you take up that?
Okay, can they please change the slide so I can go ahead? Hello. Okay. All right. This is our Bele by Choice Facebook and YouTube live chat. So, are you a woman? Are you a woman or a young girl with unmet sexual and reproductive health needs? Feel free to speak with our sexual and reproductive health experts today by dialing the numbers on the screen 070-480-65486 or 070-480-65450. That's our Bele by Choice hotline where we give you we answer your questions as regards your sexual and reproductive health. You can also send us a WhatsApp message by dialing the number +1 833 221 2559 or call our Honey and Banana Connect at 55059. And the sweetest part is all of this is for free. You are not paying a dime for any of this. For trying to get information about your sexual and reproductive health needs, you're not paying a dime. Okay. Next slide, please. Okay, if you are in need of sexual and reproductive health information, or you want to have a one-on-one physical talk with any of our sexual and reproductive health um, respondents, you can. We have different uh, places in Calabar Municipal, Boki local government, Biase, Akpabuyo local government area. We also have in please next slide. Hello. Hello, next slide, please.
Yeah, this line has been changed. I guess it's your network. Can you see that?
We also have in Obudu. Okay, Obudu local government. We have in Obubra, Ikom, Etung local government. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. We have in Etung local government area. Just walk into any of our primary health care centers in these various locations, and they'll be there to attend to whatever sexual and reproductive health needs that you might have as a woman, as a young lady. We have in Obanliku, we have in Odukpani, Ogoja, Yakor local government area. And we have in Yala, Bakasi, Abi, Bekwara. And lastly, we have in Calabar South and we have in Akampa local government area. These are primary healthcare centers that African Girls Empowerment Network have partnered with to ensure that women and young girls' sexual and reproductive health needs are met. Also, we also have, okay, we're putting out a call for volunteers. If you're a female doctor or a female nurse that is passionate about women's rights to pregnancy by choice, you can do well by joining our Bele by Choice Party team. Send us an email at operations at agenetwork.org or call the numbers on the screen 070-480-65486 or 070-480-65450. This is a call for volunteers. If you're a female doctor or nurse that is passionate about women's rights to pregnancy, please dial the number on the screen or send us an email to operations at agenetwork.org. Okay, this is our Bele by Choice Facebook and YouTube live chat. We want to say thank you so very much once again for joining us on this call. Sorry. And we will see you same time, which is 5 p.m. every Thursday, where we bring sexual and reproductive health experts. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. See you same time next week. Bye and happy new month once again to us all. Happy new month, everybody.
Happy new month. Yeah. Bye.
I think we can. Hello, Tina.